Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Breakaway. As you can see, we are not with Ryan and Rhodes right now. We're actually with Arturo and Waldo at Ryan's childhood home. Oh, the man is just pampering his boy on the couch. Last time we were here, it was actually pretty recent. I don't think we even really went inside the house, but Ryan and Rhodes came to Copperdale to celebrate Arturo's retirement. But I wanted to pop inside the house for a little bit and spend a little bit of time with Arturo, actually, because we haven't gotten to spend a lot of time with him in a while. I feel like Ryan and Rose have just been so wrapped up in their careers. They had the Sim World Cup. Now they're engaged. I mean, they're creating their own lives. They're adults as well. And as we get older, we may not spend as much time with our families, especially when we don't live in the same area. It can become really difficult. And that is the case for Ryan and Rhodes. She's very, very focused on everything that's going on with her. Not that she's neglecting her dad, but he's retired. He's always been a single parent, and he has to kind of figure out what this next chapter looks like for him. And I just wanted to show you that the house is in fact being packed up. We've got boxes here in the living room. There's nothing in them technically, but just to simulate, he's moving. He's trying to sell off all of his things. And I think what he's planning on doing, because I had to think about this a lot. I had to think about how I was going to do this. I mean, do I have to simulate the whole thing? Not really, but I do want Ryan and Rhodes to have a place where they can go visit Arturo. And he is an elder at this point. He's retired, but I don't see him, like, he's maybe 65. Let's go with that, like straight up retirement age. He's not walking with that cane or walker yet. He's not in a retirement home. He is just starting this new chapter, and he wants to travel. He might stay in one place for a couple months, go check out somewhere else, which means he'll be renting things, and there is just no point in trying to maintain and keep this house, especially now that Ryan's not here. This big 2-story house, he doesn't need it anymore. So he is packing things up. He hasn't even touched Ryan's room yet because he does want her to make sure that she collects anything that she wants. Like if there's any posters, books, trinkets, anything like that in her room that she wants to hold on to, because I think he's going to leave most of the furniture here. I don't know how common this would really be unless it's like a townhouse or something. That's primarily where I've seen it, but I haven't seen a lot of homes sold with all the furniture in it. It could be more common than I know. But of course, all the fixtures, the appliances, those things would stay, but he's going to leave his furniture. I think the only thing he might take is this old chair. This has been his armchair forever. It's all beat up and everything from not only Waldo. I think they've probably had to replace the couch over the years. Not only from Waldo, but from Ryan when she was little, and just how much Arturo freaking used it. So I thought we would spend a little bit of time with him to kind of get in his head a little bit and see what he's thinking. And he's never had a companion. Ryan's mother left when she was really young. He's got Waldo, his best friend here. But Waldo, as I think I had mentioned last episode, he might be on his way out. He is an elder dog as well, and it's kind of a miracle that he has been around this long since Ryan was a child. He's an old dog. He really is. Now, I don't have aging on because I didn't want there to be random deaths out of nowhere, especially since the second Sims become elders. If you get out of that active household, all of a sudden your Sims relatives get a call being like, hey, they're getting older, you might want to see them, and then they pass away the next day. Like it's not fair. So I didn't want aging on, but Waldo might not be around much longer, which is really sad. But I wanted to spend some time with Arturo and kind of see what his life looks like and see what he is going to be up to. It's not going to be the entire episode, but I want to kind of clue you in a little bit more on him. And Ryan came over today. Actually, I failed to mention that she was coming over today because she was going to go check out those things in her room. She's like, oh my Dad, the house is basically empty. I know, sweetie, I know it is. It's a little bit difficult for me. I've been here for a very long time, and I know you grew up here. And I think he's actually going to check in on her too. I keep forgetting about that interaction with parents. He's going to check in on her. He's giving her a life lesson on responsibility right now, just talking about everything that he's had to kind of coordinate and trying to sell the house, asking about her future plans, now that they're engaged, how the wedding planning is going. And I think I think Ryan's going to kind of interrupt his line of questioning about her future and be like, Dad, you're not really telling me where you're off to once the house sells. Because the thing is, the house hasn't sold yet. He's packing everything up. He's trying to get things ready to go for whenever it does sell. And that way he can just be a free spirit, if you will. But he's just kind of saying, well, honey, I don't really know where I'm going to end up next. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to end up next. I'm hoping that it'll be somewhere new. I want to see places that I haven't seen before. And I think that Ryan, because this, of course, is, mainly focused on Ryan and Rhodes and their story and their development. Oh, he just congratulated her on her engagement. But I think he's kind of saying, I want to be nearby. Of course, I want to help you with wedding planning as much as possible. But I do want to see places I've never seen before. And I think she kind of, I don't know if Ryan took it as a jab, because I don't think that's what Arturo was doing. But I think that she kind of felt this twinge of guilt, being like, did I prevent you from doing these things? Was it because of me? Ryan doesn't like to feel like a burden. She doesn't like to be dependent on other people, even her dad sometimes. Even though, her dad is like the one person she can depend on aside from Rhodes, right? But she doesn't like depending on people, and she doesn't like feeling as though she's holding people back. And he's like, no, honey, of course not. I chose to put those things off. I think he's trying to reassure her of like, I chose to do this. This wasn't because of you. This was my choice. I wanted to be extremely present for you, and nothing else, right? Like, that's it. So I'm actually going to have him. I keep forgetting because he's an elder, I can do this. So I want him. Oh, new personality, romantically reserved. You know what? Sure. Whatever. He can be romantically reserved. Who cares? Who cares? Why not? But he's going to give her some family advice too, and just be like, when you become a parent, if you become a parent in the future, I think it'll make a lot more sense to you then. I made these decisions to focus on my job and focus on you, and I don't regret a single moment of it. Knowing that in the future I was going to have this time to explore places I haven't been and do things that I haven't been. This was my choice. There's a difference between simply having an obligation and responsibility and then also making that choice. He has the responsibility, or had, I suppose, more so when Ryan was younger, to be there for her, to be a present parent when her mother was not there. But it was also a choice that he made to be extremely present. And this is just the game. It looks like Arturo and Ryan just adore spending time with each other. Such comfortable camaraderie among family members is a blessing. Would you say that the family dynamic between Arturo and Ryan is close? Now, I don't remember what their current dynamic is or if they have one. It could be supportive, but I think that this is actually a great opportunity to kind of examine their relationship evolving as well. There's so much of this that happens when you play Sims for so long, especially with all of these packs and the different things that we have to kind of enhance the depth of Sims and their relationships. He's always been very supportive. He has been Ryan's #1 fan, and he always will be. But now that she's an adult and has a significant other who she plans on marrying, she has Rhodes, that has evolved. They can just be close. He's always going to be supportive, but she has a different kind of support in her life now too. Not saying that parental support should dissipate as you get older, but I think it changes. It certainly changes. And I think that their dynamic would change to close. I think they are simply close. They're very close, very tight-knit. And her and Rhodes have more of this supportive partner dynamic now. She can kind of shift those needs of hers. Like, she seeks support more so from Rhodes than her dad at this point, just because of where she's at in her life. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to say yes to that. I think that they do now have a close dynamic compared to a supportive dynamic. I think that that's absolutely true. And I always forget that from a great relationship with a relaxed parent. So he was pretty relaxed when she was growing up, and she had a happy childhood because of him. And they have some great sentiments with one another as well, which I think is really important. I really love this. And they do share deep thoughts. Now that Ryan's kind of getting through her abandonment issues, and maybe getting through isn't exactly the right term. Maybe it's more so that she's really just addressing it and dealing with it and trying not to let it be to her detriment, trying not to let it be a form of self-sabotage, if you will. Yeah, I think they do just have they share deep thoughts. They have a close sentiment or close dynamic. I know I just talked at you all for a really long time, but I thought it was important to kind of address that because I think it gives depth to Arturo as a character as well. Loves his daughter, but also understands that his role, he's always going to be dad, right? But his role is kind of changing because she does have other people in her life that can fulfill these needs. It's not just him anymore, it's other people. And I feel like as a parent, that could be both incredible to watch, and you're very grateful for it, but also really difficult, right? Because now he's just retired. He doesn't have to look out for his daughter all the time, even though he always will. So what's next? Just going for a walk with our buddy. We see a lot of our Sims walking their furry friends, but you know what? I think it's like the one time that our Arturo actually stays active. And honestly, I think Waldo, because he's older, he needs some activity too. So I think it's nice that they're going for a little walk through Copperdale. It's a beautiful day, and it's actually it's a little bit overcast, which is nice, even though it's a bit warm. Ryan decided to head home. She was there for a little while. They chatted. She went through some of the stuff in her room, and they pretty much cleared that out. So now Arturo's got the rest of the afternoon to himself and Waldo. But again, we're not going to spend all episode here, but I wanted to kind of clue you in. I think what we're going to do is we are going to have Arturo find a rental. I don't know exactly how we're going to do this, and I don't know where he should go. I kind of want you all to help me choose. So I am going to give you a couple of options for him to kind of venture around and spend some time. Should he travel, let's say, abroad? Should he travel abroad to like Tartosa, or should he spend some time in Salvadorada? Granted, Salvadorada is just a vacation world, so that, oh, look, it's Aster. That might not be ideal, but let's say like if he went to Tartosa or Henford-on-Bagley or something, should he go abroad, or should he go explore some more local places such as like, Willow Creek, Oasis Springs? Should he go to, well, not San Sequoia at this point. Should he go to like Evergreen Harbor? Where should he spend a little bit of time, and what should that goal kind of be for him now that he's in retirement? I kind of want you all to weigh in on that. Let me know in the comments down below. I will remind you of those options on screen now as I start to lose my voice, apparently. Which is so frustrating. This has been happening to me all the time, and I really don't know why. But definitely let me know. Also, Becca's here, because this game hates me. Thank you. Why, yes. And now we're with Leanna and Leo and Aster. This is kind of a round robin episode because I just felt like there were so many different points that I wanted to kind of explore throughout this LP, and I haven't had the opportunity to explore all of them in full. So I wanted to pop in here and I don't know, I just wanted to pay some attention to Leanna and Leo and Aster because we don't get to see a lot of them. And again, Rhodes was kind of struggling, I think, with just this whole dynamic change, but I also wanted to catch you all up because this was never a plan for me to do this on camera. I just didn't think it would work out. But at this point, they are still engaged, but Aster is living with Leanna at this point. So he has moved in because I think that was always part of their plan. They got engaged, they got pregnant at the same time, and it was a little bit of a whirlwind. But at this stage, things have settled down. Leo is, of course, a little bit older. I'm thinking that he's around a year old at this point. They also did develop this wholesome romance dynamic pretty much the second I hopped in with them. And I wanted to explore that too, because we don't know a lot about Aster, and we don't know a lot about Aster and Leanna's relationship outside of the fact that it was just so quick. It was so quick. It developed quickly. Everything happened so quickly. They kind of did things out of order, but you know what? Who cares if you do things quote unquote in order? Everybody's story is their own, right? So they have developed a wholesome romance dynamic. They have the most tender and affectionate dynamic and love for one another, which I'm hoping we can see more of because, again, Aster didn't live here, so I'm hoping that in time we're going to see a lot more of that now that they live together. And of course, he wanted to be a very present father for Leo. They do have a pretty good relationship, him and Leo, and so does Leanna, of course, with little baby Leo. And things have kind of calmed down, I would say, on the Rhodes front. We've explored that a little bit with Rhodes, where he was trying to kind of mend things a bit. I mean, things weren't completely broken, but he was not handling it well with all these changes and seeing his mom, what he felt was like jumping into something, when she had never, and I mean never even so much as dated when he was growing up. And now all of a sudden she's pregnant, engaged. And it almost felt like, to Rhodes, it almost felt like she was completely starting over, which she absolutely is. In her own way, she's completely starting over, whether or not it was intentional. And it almost made him feel, I'm not going to say jealous, because I don't think that's the right word, but it made him feel like he was almost the trial run, right? Like she didn't get it right the first time. So now that she's found someone who's going to stick around, who cares about her, who like wants to be there for their child, Rhodes almost feels like, oh, Leo. Rhodes almost... This was supposed to be serious, and then he did this. And, you know, I have to get a picture because he's so cute. But he almost felt like, oh, now I'm an adult, so you can get the family life you actually wanted. You know, it doesn't have to be logical. I had some people kind of not maybe agree with how Rhodes was feeling about the situation, but you have to think about it from that standpoint of finally, like, I'm an adult. My mom is probably going to retire in the next, like, 5 to 10 years, something like that. Like, I don't know. She's a little bit younger than Ryan's dad is. Like, Ryan's dad is absolutely retirement age. But this is a point where, you know, maybe she's like, I think I've mentioned maybe she's like 40. It was completely out of left field, but she had Rhodes when she was a lot younger. And maybe he's kind of forgetting that a lot of her young adulthood was really focused on raising him and doing it all on her own, and not indulging or trying to forge personal relationships or have relationships when he was little, because she didn't feel like it was a good fit for her. She didn't feel like that's what she wanted to do. She didn't want people in and out of Rhodes's life, and she just wanted to do it on her own once Rhodes's dad decided to leave, right? And I think there's a lot of parallels maybe with Leanna and Arturo in a way, because he also made the choice not to travel, not to change his career. He focused on his career, he focused on her, and that was that. And she kind of did the same. She focused on Rhodes, she didn't pursue romantic relationships, and that was that. And now that she's older, she got very lucky and she found Aster, and lo and behold, the world gave her Leo. You know, completely unexpected, but that's what life is, right? It's just full of unexpected moments, and they can be very life-altering, such as these. He's also crawling. Do you see this little freaking nugget crawling around right now? He wants to babble to his mama. He's so cute. But yeah, I wanted to kind of explore that a little bit too, because I really don't think that we've had enough between Aster and Leanna. And now that he's living here, I think that they're going to have more family moments, especially with Rhodes. That's what I think. And look at Leo go. Look at him go. He's so cute. Look at this guy go. And does Leanna like physical intimacy? Sure. Why not? Why not? And look who it is. It's Rhodes. Rhodes came over today to spend... Oh, she's helping him learn how to stand in the background. But Aster's like, hey there, Rhodes. How are things going? He's like, oh, you know, I'm good. I just wanted to come see you guys, spend a little bit of time with the little brother and everything. So I think Leanna's actually going to hand him over too and just be like, Leo, it's your big brother. It's Rhodesy. I keep forgetting that I always have her call him Rhodesy. It's a bit much, but I kind of like it though. And I think Rhodes is finally getting to this point where he likes spending time with his family as a whole. You know, his family's changing and expanding in very unexpected ways, but he's also learning that family is what you make of it too, right? Like he chose Ryan as his family, and he can't sit there and be making, oh, can you not do that? Oh, did I have her want to bottle feed? Oh, I had her want to bottle feed him. Never mind, because I wasn't controlling Rhodes. Of course. But yeah, I think that he's finally accepting the fact that, you know, his family is growing and expanding in new ways. You know, he chose Ryan to be a part of his family, and just because his relationship is somewhat changing with his mom, and he has this little brother to kind of get to know and see grow up as well, it's not a bad thing. And that Aster is now a part of this family too, and that clearly he's willing to step up and be present. And I think that part of it, actually, now that I kind of come back to it, I think Rhodes was a little bit jealous. Not necessarily of Leo, but just of the situation. I am going to kind of come back to that, actually. I think he was a little jealous of it because Leo gets the dad that he never got. Leo gets the joint family, the whole family. Like Rhodes always felt like his family was a little bit maybe a little bit broken. And I don't think he even realized it until Leo came into the picture too. I always think that he thought everything was good to go with just him and his mom. He didn't need his dad, right? They were fine. They were a full family the way they were. But then he started to see what it was like to have these two parents so excited and ready to raise this little nugget. And it made him a little bit envious and maybe almost a little bit... he kind of mourned his childhood in an odd way. He had to process all the things, he had to process all of the emotions in regards to this situation. So it's been a trip for him. It really has. But I think that he's finally coming around to the fact that his family just looks a little bit different, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think he really enjoys being a big brother, even if there's a huge age gap like this. Like I think he's actually loving that he's old enough to help take care of Leo as well. Because if he'd had a little brother when he was a kid, he wouldn't be able to take care of him the same way. So Rhodes is going through growth. Things are being mended with, his family. He's getting to know Aster a bit more. Aster and Leanna are steady and good to go. I just wanted to get a little sneak peek into their lives too. Look at Leo. I think he's asking to be fed. Aster's getting Leo to bed. Little nugget. I feel like they have... Oh, well, okay, that didn't work. He just glitched out. Now he's on the floor. Oh, this game kills me sometimes. It really does. But I feel like the routine is always that Aster puts Leo to bed because he works all freaking day. Leanna stays home with Leo at this point, and Aster still, he works. He's a futures trader. He's level 7 in the business career. Like, he's pretty high up. So he's at work all the time, actually. All week. He's got a regular old 9 to 5, and he always misses out on all the fun things during the day with Leo. So they have their little nighttime routine. He puts him to bed. He soothes them to sleep. He gets the lullaby playing, and then him and Leanna kind of cuddle up in bed and just talk about their days because they don't get to see each other that much. That's something that I can certainly relate to. I mean, both me and my husband, we work 9 to 5s, but I am very, very lucky that I get to work from home. But it's nice when my husband gets home and we get to just kind of catch up on our days and chat about things that happened and whatever else is on our minds. Also, Aster has a whim to get married. He wants to get married. This man wants to marry Leanna so badly. He really does. I want him to cuddle in bed with her too. I think so. They have a wholesome dynamic, right? They do. I wanted to get a glimpse into them too, because we don't get to see them that much. We really haven't learned that much about Aster or Leanna. But I think from Rhodes' perspective, we weren't really getting an accurate picture. Because you have to remember that all of my characters, they're all flawed, and they are both, all of my characters are unreliable narrators. I feel like I've said that before. You have to remember that half the things I'm saying are from their perspective, and their perspective might not always be correct. So I hope you enjoyed this little snippet into their day too, and to their lives and dynamic. Of course, he would be wearing those boxers right now because why not? We are here with Ryan and Rhodes, finally. This episode might feel like we're bouncing all over the place, and we kind of are, but it was just important for me to kind of give you some insight into the other really important people in their lives and what was going on at this time. And how things were developing. And I thought the shift in perspective might be somewhat helpful. So let me know what your thoughts were on that, because it was certainly something that I haven't done ever, especially not in this LP. There was a point during my Platonic LP that I did switch point of views, which was really fun, but it was also kind of difficult. However, I thought it would be beneficial here. So we did that, especially because Ryan and Rhodes, aside from being newly engaged, they don't have much going on. It is the off season. They are still practicing, just not with the team. So they're doing kind of their own practices here and there. And they don't really have any commitments at the moment. All they have to plan their wedding, and I don't know if they've really decided what they want to do. Ryan has mentioned to Rose that she doesn't want a spectacle. She doesn't want anything flashy or big or extravagant. I mean, they're not struggling for cash per se. And also, is off season over? It's over. They have work today. They have work in an hour. And he's juggling the soccer ball in the bathroom. But yeah, they don't want anything extravagant. They're not strapped for cash. I know Leanna's at the door, and I know Arturo is calling right now. Y'all, we just spent some time with you. We just spent all of our time with you. Go away. They're not strapped for cash, but they don't want to spend it on a wedding. They're both of the mindset that this is it's like a one-time event. Like, you don't have to spend all of your money on it. They'd rather spend that money on a honeymoon instead. So that's something that they're kind of considering. And my thought here, because I do want them to be married before the new season kicks off, but we have plenty of time for that. I want them to be married in fall. I think that's the plan. So maybe not next week, but perhaps the week after, between Spooky Day and Harvest Fest, perhaps, because I don't want a winter wedding, and I don't think that's what they want either. And once winter's over, it's spring, the new season starts, bam, we're right into it. So I think that's going to be the plan. There's a lot to do in between now and then. So what I think they're going to do, possibly not tonight, because when they get home from work, it'll be 9 p.m. and then they work again on Sunday. We might rejoin them on Monday, and they might have like a little engagement party. I know that they celebrated with their team, but that was mainly a win celebration. That was a celebration of winning the World Cup, not for their engagement. So they might do something with like both of their parents, their family, their friends, everything like that. Celebrate their engagement maybe on Monday night or Monday afternoon. Maybe do it a little bit earlier, and then kind of talk about what their plans are for this wedding, because that's the next big thing. Oh, okay. We just got a prompt for Rhodes while he was at work. I haven't had one of these in a long time. I'm kind of excited. Following a difficult loss, maybe difficult practice, Rhodes sat down with the media for a post-game interview. Already feeling heated, anger flashed in his eyes when a reporter asked, statistically, this was one of the worst choke jobs in the history of the sport. Your team had a commanding lead and collapsed in the last minute. Who's responsible for that? Ooh, don't ask Rhodes that. With his emotions surging, Rhodes wanted to unleash a rant and point out that the coaching staff didn't have him on the field in the final moments. Is this on brand for him? But he knew that such issues should be handled within the locker room, away from the public. Will Rhodes blame his coach for not utilizing his talents or act like a professional athlete? Ooh, blame the coach for the loss. Rhodes will gain fame, but he will get demoted and lose reputation. But if he discusses winning and losing as a team, his life will continue unchanged. Okay, that's curious. Okay, because think about this. The coach and or owner, I'm going to say they're one and the same, honestly, at this point. She wasn't even at the celebratory dinner for the win of the World Cup. I'm thinking that maybe this was like a scrimmage game. I'm trying to think of a scenario here. Like maybe this was a game with another team, but since it's post-season, it doesn't count, but it is still looked at and examined to assess a team's performance. And it's still something that ends up in the media, right? I mean, there might be a press conference after it. It's post-win of the World Cup, and then they just like completely the bed with this game that doesn't even count. And they're kind of like, yo, what is going on? Was that you, or was that a coaching decision? Like, why? Who's responsible for this horrific loss after you guys just won the World Cup? Like, is the team in danger here? My thought is that the coach may have put in Becca, and that the team is still adjusting to that dynamic and having new players on the team, and they didn't perform well. The media blew it out of proportion completely, but that pissed Rhodes off. It pissed him off, maybe because Ryan was like playing her hardest. Her and Becca were doing great. The rest of the team wasn't meshing. He didn't get as much time on the field, et cetera, et cetera. He's kind of mad over this whole thing, and I think he does blame the coach. But would he actually verbalize that in a press conference? I think he's matured past it. I think if this had happened earlier in the season prior to their World Cup win, right out of college, I feel like he would have blamed the coach and gotten all pissy pants, let his emotions get the best of him. I think that would have happened. But now I think he would just say we were going to win or lose as a team and call it a day. Before I could even get a result of Rhodes' little scenario there, Ryan got this. Ryan has been feeling some tightness today during the warm-ups before the big game. Is Ryan injured? Okay. Should she check in with the trainer or just play on it? She's going to see the trainer. I've decided that very quickly. These two literally just got home from work and just started doing this right in front of their apartment building. The steamy dynamic that they have is honestly just too much, because they quite literally cannot keep their hands off each other. Like, Rhodes wants to embrace... Oh, well, she did want to embrace him. He did want to embrace her as of like 2 seconds ago, but apparently not now. And now she wants to kiss him. They are just... I think it's beautiful. I wanted to show you all this though. They just got home from work. It's almost 10 p.m. I think they just need a breather. They've been running around seeing their family. They had a tough day at work. It turns out that Ryan's tight muscles, just tightness, she was good to go. Her work performance was great. And also, I wanted to show you all this. So Rhodes actually got a performance boost due to his preferences because he has that outdoorsy lifestyle. So that was kind of interesting. It didn't result in him getting a promotion or anything like that, but I did see his performance bar going up a little bit faster seemingly than Ryan's. Also, I made this change to the roof. I didn't even show you all. So I made this change to the roof and I put a blanket up here and I added a ladder to the back because you know what? They deserve some rooftop stargazing. These two love to stargaze. I think Rose is going to ask Ryan if she would like to go watch the stars on the roof because this was their first day back after their big win too. So think about it. They've been practicing maybe solo a little bit. They haven't been practicing. Oh, that's broken. They haven't been practicing as a team for a little while now. This was their first time back. Beck is playing now, so things are a little bit different. They're a little bit they're kind of in an adjustment period. And it was a tough day. So you know what? He's like, "Come on, baby, we're going to go watch some stars. We're going to go watch some stars on the roof." Something they've never done before. I feel like they installed this ladder, not their landlord. That's what I feel. And I understand that them looking at the stars, it's going to be the exact same animations as when they watch the sky from, "Oh, look what I found. Look, shark fin." The exact same animation as when they're sitting on a bench looking at the sky, but I just think it's really cute. They might even have some woohoo time up here too, which I think is sweet. I think it's cute. We're going to actually, you know what? They're going to have some woohoo. I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to be like, "You know, baby, I don't know. How do you feel about doing it under the stars?" She's like, "Well, we did it in a leaf pile before. That was kind of the same thing." And he's like, "Ramos, get ready, because this is not going to be the same. We're going to be rolling around like a freaking burrito in this, okay? That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be rolling around." He's like, "I'm going to have you wrapped up so tight in this blanket, girl." Like, no, who allowed me to do this, honestly? Y'all need to take this away from me, because I can't cope. I've never seen it before. I can't wait to see it. And she's like, "Absolutely, let's do it." No way. No way. He just grabs the no way. I gotta take a screenshot. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to. That's so freaking funny. No. Please. I love it. I love it so much. Burrito woohoo. Get it? That is the face of a very satisfied man. He is bewildered at how good that blanket woohoo was, and Ryan is shook to her freaking core. They deserved this. Okay, this was just fun. They deserved this. It's early Monday morning, and Ryan is up bright and freaking early, 6:30 in the morning, and she was already up. Rhodes is still in bed, but she decided to come into the office, and even though I can't simulate this appropriately, I feel like she's going through her telehealth, if you will, telehealth like counseling session, because she has been going to therapy, working through a lot of things. Also, there's a pack and play for when Leo comes over, because Ryan wants to have, or Ryan, Rhodes, what are you doing? Your boxers. Why are you in your boxers like that? He wants to chat with Ryan, but I'm actually going to have him do some other things here. But they have that pack and play for whenever they have Leo over, because Rhodes does want to have Leo over more often, and start to do that a little bit more. But Ryan is doing her telehealth session right now, and I think she's finally starting to feel a lot more excited for planning a wedding. Now, I was kind of saying 5 seconds ago when they were on the rooftop the night before, just woohooing around in their blanket and kind of talking about what they want to do for a wedding. They don't want anything extravagant. They want something small. They don't want to do anything huge. They want to have a little celebration with like friends and family about their engagement. But Ryan's kind of looking at what the options are, and she's like, "Well, I mean, we could get married at like City Hall. Like, that's fine, I guess, you know, whatever. Or they could have something super small. They could book like a tiny venue, have, you know, maybe like 10, 15 people attend. Like, they really don't want that many people. And she also doesn't know, like, they don't know where they want to go for a honeymoon. And I think Rose just like, "All right, so where are we going to go to our honeymoon? What are you thinking? I know you're in here looking it up." And she's like, "Shut up. I'm just trying to figure some things out. I don't really know what I want." And I think Rhodes, he never thought necessarily about marriage per se. He always thought about having his own family and kind of doing that whole thing. But as for the wedding itself and marriage, he didn't really give it too much thought. So I think he's kind of letting Ryan lead a little bit, especially because he knows that she's working through kind of the commitment phobia. Obviously, they've been together for a while, but this is a big commitment. And she shared kind of that insecurity and fear. And he just wants to be cognizant of that. And he wants to just be as supportive as he can be. So again, I feel like I'm constantly doing this, but it's such a nice interaction. And I kind of wish that it would give more, but I want him to build her up. It might prevent her from continuing her little search on the computer here, but I think that's fine though. I want him to build her up though and be like, look, wherever we go for our honeymoon, we're going to have a good time and I'm going to eat you alive. So don't even worry about it. And she's like, you are so crass. Like, what the Rhodes? He's like, you're going to be my wife. I love you. Okay. I love you so much. And I want every part of you. And I want to do everything to you. Like Ramos, you know I'm crazy about you. And she's like, okay, all right, enough. Save it for the honeymoon, lover boy. Like, oh, actually, I love this so much. I've only showed screenshots too. I'm saving this for when they go on their honeymoon. They've got the costume chest here. Okay, they haven't had a night to like enjoy that yet. If I had had the pack when they got engaged, maybe they would have done that. But I know that I can't even talk. That seductive dance is going to be even funnier if they're wearing like matching couples costumes. So I'm not going to do it yet. Also, it's rebate day. Now, I think that Rhodes, on the other hand, even though Ryan's kind of thinking about the wedding, what she wants, and he of course is too, I think he's kind of saying like, with Gordon kind of getting bigger and us getting married and everything, don't you think it's about time that we kind of graduate to something a little bit bigger than this apartment? Now, again, time through this whole LP is really difficult to kind of pin down. I feel like they've been here for probably a year. If we go through like a whole season and stuff like that, right? I feel like they've probably been here for like a year and they really are outgrowing this place. Like they've got this pack and play for Leo, which means they had to ditch the treadmill. It's in storage somewhere. Ryan's yoga mat's just in the middle of the office. They still haven't unpacked everything in here. Like they're fully settled, but they're also not. And they are running low on space. It's a small little starter apartment. And Ryan's like, what are you even thinking of? Like what crazy scheme is up your sleeve right now, Rhodes? And he's like, I think we should start looking for houses. That's what I think. She's like, are you... If you just heard my stomach make a noise, no, you didn't. But she's like, are you kidding? We're about to get married and you think we have to look for a house too? And he's like, come on, Ramos, come on. This place is too small. And if we're going to have Leo over more, I just want us to have a little bit more space too. So he's thinking about his brother. But she's also like, oh, Leo, huh? Not you thinking about like getting me pregnant. And he's like, oh, I'm always thinking about that. I'm always thinking about getting you pregnant, Ramos. Like that. He's like, let me just be honest right now. I would never have done this. Let me just be a little bit crass here. I was thinking about getting you pregnant since the second I saw you. Okay, like I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that he was actually thinking of doing that. He is not that person. He would never have done that. But it's just him kind of being like, I have been this attracted to you and knew this was going to be something special from the moment I saw you. Like, of course I'm thinking about that. And she's like, no, like, Rose, come on. We have to have a serious conversation about it. And he just cuts her off and he's like, oh, we'll have a serious conversation about it after I may or may not take you to bed. And then we're going to look at house listing. Okay. And we're at the park. Look, they didn't want anything super extravagant as like a celebration of their engagement either. So Ryan and Rhodes just invited their families out to this park. We've been here before, which I think is really nice. This seems to be kind of like a central gathering place. But they decided to just come here, grill out with the family, hang out with their friends. Like Ryan and Becca are already gossiping, and we have these two from Strangerville. Apparently Rose just made up some barbecue ribs, and I think that Becca is just yet again congratulating Ryan and Rhodes on their engagement. And I think that we've already told Piper. We have to think about this, right? We've already told Piper about the engagement, but I think this is the first time we've seen her in person since they got engaged, aside from Yeah, because they just had that little party with the team afterwards. So I think that this is really nice. Like, oh, look at that. Did you see that autonomous hug between Rhodes and Aster? Oh, I told you things were going better between them. I told you. That was really sweet. Arturo's also here somewhere. At least he was. But look at how excited Ryan is to tell Piper. And I kind of wonder, between like Becca and Piper, I wonder who her maid of honor would be. Maybe, do they want to keep it like mainly family? See, now JJ's not here either. We've kind of, I'm not going to say we've fallen out with JJ. Like Ryan is still super good friends with him, but they don't really talk that much ever since everything happened between Piper and JJ. Even though it kind of ended okay, it was a little bit tumultuous for a while. And then he was like calling and asking about other girls, and Ryan was just, she was just not into it at all. She's also still friends with Kyle, which he's just gonna go away. We're gonna delete that relationship altogether. She's really good friends with Spencer too, but you know what? I kind of see this because this happens a lot, I think, when you're kind of storytelling with The Sims. It's so hard because sometimes certain relationships like dwindle so quickly. Oh, and Rose just got a sentiment with Aster that's so freaking cute. Oh my god. You know what? What I was trying to say is that relationships can sometimes fade really quickly in The Sims, and yet others can blossom really quickly. And of course, it has to do with compatibility and all this other stuff at this point. But my point is that I think sometimes I feel like Ryan and Rhodes have moved past a lot of their other friendships. Like Aiden, for example. He was always just kind of in the peripheral. He wasn't one of like their really, really good friends. Like they have a positive relationship, but I see that more as like, yeah, we're friends, and if we meet up, that's great, and we'll have a great time, but we don't go out of our way to kind of stay in touch, whatever. Maybe we hear about one another through a mutual friend, like she's really close with Piper and Becca. Those have been her ride or dies, you know, for a while. So maybe she hears about Spencer and JJ through them. So she has a positive relationship, but they're not super, super close anymore. So it's not, with them thinking of having a really small wedding, I feel like they wouldn't even be invited to the wedding. Do you know what I mean? Just like really close friends and family. I'm not trying to be mean, but I just don't think that they'd make the cut at this point. So I don't know who Ryan is going to ask to be her maid of honor. Well, her sim of honor, I should say. And a ring bearer, I don't know if we're going to have a ring bearer. Maybe if Leo's not going to be a toddler by that point, and I don't think a toddler could do it anyway. And a flower pal, just really, these seem like you'd want younger children to do it. I don't know. But honestly, maybe through all of it, like, yeah, Becca's her teammate, but I think Piper has really, really been her closest friend. I think we're going to ask Piper to be our sim of honor. And I hope she says yes. I really hope she says yes. And as for Rhodes, I don't know who he's going to ask. Arturo! Hey, there you are, buddy. Maybe he'll ask Arturo to be his sim of honor. But at the same time, Arturo would kind of have a role in the wedding already, right? As, oh, darn it. Yeah, maybe he wouldn't ask Arturo. Maybe he'd ask Aster? Because Rhodes doesn't have any like super close friends. I mean, he's gotten really close with Marcelo. More so than, you know, Spencer and JJ. Like their relationship isn't as high, even Craig. So maybe he'd ask Marcelo. Maybe we should do that. Yeah, we're going to ask Marcelo at some point. That's going to be his sim of honor. But I think Ryan just asked Piper to be her sim of honor. And I think she said yes. I think that's what that means, right? Honored wedding party. Yes. Being a special part of the wedding is something that will be remembered forever. How cute. Yes. So Piper has a sentiment chosen to be sim of honor, which is really sweet. So this is a nice way for them to just celebrate with their friends and family. Also, couples all the time are now sitting and watching the sky, which is a lot. It's a lot. I am going to have, let's see, I'm going to have Rhodes go talk to his mom and Leo really quick because she's just kind of sitting over there with Leo. Oh, actually, here, have him pick up Leo from Leanna. Can you do that, buddy? Can you do that, Rhodes, my friend? Hello? How about now? No? Okay. Right. We're gonna pick him up. We're gonna pick up our brother. Okay, well, this episode was, again, this was a little bit all over the place. I wanted to check in with Leanna, Aster, and Leo and their dynamic, check in with Arturo and Ryan a little bit through different perspectives, and have a little kind of mini celebration with their engagement as they start to talk about what they're gonna do for their wedding, but also where they're going to go for their honeymoon. And Rhodes brought up the idea of buying a house sometime soon. They've maybe got the funds for it. I suppose we'll see. But hopefully next episode, it'll be a little bit more structured. I'm kind of wondering how you all are feeling about the series as well, because this was supposed to be a mini series, but there's kind of no end in sight, which is maybe why some of the episodes have felt a bit more disjointed as of late, at least for me as the person. Oh, and everybody just glitched out. Maybe to me, as the person who's filming it, it feels disjointed, and to you, you're all picking up things that I haven't even done intentionally. You know what I mean? No, I also don't want a club gathering to start. Stop that. So anyway, let me know what you think. Can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
We're in the get-go, next place, give me someone I could dance with you beneath the stars. 'Cause when I